The timer starts when you press from the beginning on the very first mission of Story Mode. Today we're running Demon Slayer 2 Story Mode any % load game, which means this is not a fresh save. We already start the run with some equipped gear, but before we get into that, yes, I am just running circles around Daki right now. She's gonna trigger 2 flashbacks before finishing the fight, so what we're trying to do here is make sure she's not mid-attack animation when it's time to trigger a cutscene. We also have to be careful to not attack her at all, since doing so would trigger another voice line that would add about 10 seconds to this fight. If we do that successfully, we get a very clean Daki, and after skipping a couple of cutscenes, it's time to run up a mountain. This speedrun has some light platforming, not a ton of skill is required to clear these gaps right now, but there is a tougher jump later in the run that can definitely add a few seconds if you miss it. We apologize to the deer because there's no time to pay respects right now, we are in a hurry today. As I mentioned earlier, this is a load game run, meaning we start the run with some equipped gear already. From the tests I have done, this is the best set of gear I have found, with special gauge accelerator constantly increasing our special meter so we can boost quicker, and reckless abandon, which buffs our damage after 15 seconds of not blocking. And we don't plan on blocking for the entire run, especially not during this tutorial fight, which we open with Tanjiro doing a heavy attack into a full combo into a grab. We switch to Nezuko, who can do all 3 of her skills faster, and she also has a quicker ultimate attack as well. Not much quicker, it's only about a second faster than Tanjiro's, but her surge animation actually saves you about 3 seconds. So switching to Nezuko is definitely worth it. We swap back to Tanjiro and we can finally deal some damage to the tutorial demon. He goes into a surge, but we can simply armor through his attacks at this point and finish the fight very quickly. The prologue is done, it's time for the entertainment district. This section is by far the worst of the speedrun. It's about 5 minutes of walking around and doing menial quests. Most of the run is super fun with unique boss fights and different strategies for each one, but it all comes after this set of quests, which does make resetting a run a bit more painful since you gotta go through all of this again. After we're done with Tanjiro's smelling mission, we're free to wander the entertainment district and do some window shopping. We can't really move this section any faster because we gotta wait for Tengen to reach this specific spot for us to move on. After that, it's Inosuke's turn to go around listening to clues, trying to find out which one is Makio's room. It's always this one, but it doesn't pop until you've listened to everyone. And then we quickly record a best-selling banger with Zenitsu. Oh no. Just kidding, we didn't mess up. After you see completed on that progress bar, you can just put the controller down, the minigame doesn't go faster or slower. And the last boring walking section is with Zenitsu running across this house, using his listening to spot a crying girl, which completes chapter 1. Chapter 2 leaves the walking around behind and starts with a running section over the entertainment district rooftops. This is the platforming section I was telling you about earlier. Most of the jumps are pretty easy, except this one right here, which we actually clear successfully, and that is gonna take us into our first Daki fight, if you don't count the prologue. She always starts the fight by charging this attack, so we'll charge our heavy back and confirm into a water wheel, quickly running to the corner so she blows us away into this corner. This dash has no hitbox, so we have to parry it and try to punish somehow. Every time she attacks though, you're gonna power through with a heavy, confirm into a water wheel, and then we boost here and get hit, because I was expecting her to just do the dash once again, and she didn't do it, so it is a little bit of a time loss. That said, we find another opening, we deal some damage, she finally boosts again, and now these dashes actually have a hitbox, which means you can DP through them, dealing some damage as she is attacking you. You wait for another attack, do a heavy, we don't have any more meters, so we can't water wheel, but we do build enough for this final dash right here, which we DP through and finish her with a quick combo. Pretty good Daki, not perfect, some improvements could definitely be made. Now we're back to walking around with Inosuke, but it is a pretty fast section since Inosuke is actually running now, and he can burst through the doors of this place. Now destroying these ones downstairs is completely optional, but we're playing Inosuke, so might as well. We find Daki's underground lair where we fight against its sashes, and this fight is pretty consistent using this strategy. Basically, we're gonna attack the sashes with a charged tilt skill, summon Zenitsu and do another skill, dealing some more damage before the sashes teleport away. Rinse and repeat, now we boost to get some meter and do the exact same thing, and after doing this 3 times, the sashes are gonna go away and surge. We need 4 bars to finish this fight, which we already have, which means we're gonna tilt skill into Zenitsu, do another skill, a couple of attacks, and now we charge 2 heavy attacks to finish the fight. We did get hit, which is going to cost us a little bit of time, but we find the opening pretty quickly after that. Next, we're going to fight Daki for the second time, if you don't count the prologue, but now we're no longer playing as Water Tanjiro, we're playing as Iri Tanjiro, which has this handy reset. If you're consistent and don't drop it ever, Daki will never break your reset, giving you an optimal time on this fight. Unfortunately, that's the only time that this reset works, so this is a tech that's only useful for this specific fight. And we still gotta fight Daki 2 more times after this. But that is chapter 2 completed, and you'll notice that in between chapters we gain mastery with the characters that we played as, which means that if you truly want to optimize this run, you'll simply get mastery 99 with every character that you run. In fact, by just running this game, I have managed to get a bunch of characters to mastery 99 already, and that saves me a bunch of time, but as you can see, there are a few that I'm still leveling up. Chapter 3 starts with Awakened Nezuko versus Daki, and Daki starts by doing a heavy attack, which is not the best start in this fight. Usually you want to catch her and confirm into your demon skill, and try to reset her using your normal attacks just like this. But doing that consistently is pretty hard, and she can be pretty annoying just dodging around. Every fight in Demon Slayer has a little bit of RNG if you're trying to speedrun it, but it's honestly part of the reason why I love it. Of course, in the moment, dropping a combo like this in the end is gonna cost us some time. You can definitely save more than 10 seconds on this fight if Daki behaves. But I love that little bit of chaos in every fight. Most of that chaos can actually be controlled if you have the proper reactions. This speedrun is about more than just simple mechanical execution. The run constantly tests how good you are at adapting on the fly. Now, this fight right here is the first time we play as Tengen, and there's not much to it. Gyutaro is gonna boost every time you finish a combo, and he goes into a surge around this amount of health. At that point, all you gotta do is dodge his jumping attacks, and then heavy through the rest of this stuff. As far as I know, this is the fastest way of doing it. Then we quickly run as Tanjiro through a destroyed city, we check the timer when we run past this bucket, and we do all of that only to fight against Gyutaro once again. And no, we're not using Tanjiro, we swap to Tengen immediately at the start of the fight, but we're definitely going to use that Tanjiro assist to great success. Gyutaro forces combo breaks this time around every time he thinks you're dealing too much damage. So you gotta back off briefly, and that's when I call my Tanjiro assist, who puts Gyutaro in the air, and then I try to reset him as he lands with Tengen. After a couple of combos, he goes into a surge, just like he does on the first fight, only this time we only dodge the first attack and power through the rest using heavy attacks and the Tanjiro assist. 2 Gyutaros down, only 1 to go. But now before we go up against 2 run killers. These next 2 Daki fights are where I've had the most resets. Every time you finish a combo, she's gonna boost you away, and then what I try to do is use the Zenitsu assist to chase her down. He's not always successful, so sometimes you're gonna have to chase her yourself, but the most important part of this fight is that when she goes into a surge, you gotta deal some damage quickly, or she'll jump to a rooftop far away, losing you about 15 seconds. But after she surges, we're able to land the Zenitsu assist plus 2 heavy attacks, skipping that phase completely. That is a successful Daki skip. Now guess what? You gotta do it again. This time you start as Zenitsu, which I used to deal some damage, and then switch to Inosuke after a single combo. Of course, we call the Inosuke assist, do that combo to the end, and once we're boosted away, that's when we call Inosuke. She always does this jumping attack, and then we deal some extra damage using the Zenitsu assist and Inosuke once again. I was trying to make her stand up, so this phase would go a little bit faster, but it's okay, it's not a major time loss. We charge her a little bit of meter, wait for her to land, wait for her to do this attack, and now we're gonna go all out because at the end of this combo, she is gonna surge. We're gonna end on a knockdown on purpose, and we're gonna boost ourselves. We wanna be ready to deal as much damage as possible before she jumps away. If she manages to jump away here, it's gonna be a 20-second time loss. We dodge that heavy, we immediately punish, we call Zenitsu, and charge a heavy to finish it off. And just like that, both Dakis have actually been skipped, only one more fight to go through this arc. This is a fun one with 2 different phases, as you can see from Gyutaro's health bars. Much like the last fight, he has a mandatory combo break after you deal a certain amount of damage, except this time you cannot get any closer to him or he'll actually boost you away. So instead, I just let Tanjiro do my work for me and dash him after he does this line attack. Then I deal enough damage for him to combo break me again and just repeat the process. At the end of phase 1, Tanjiro is definitely going to get the kill on this next attack, so we boost before phase 1 is done. Now, usually we'd be further away from Gyutaro, but because we're too close, we actually block his boost, and this is going to throw us too far back, which is going to force us to surge immediately, and I use Tengen's Steel skill to get closer to Gyutaro, switching to Tanjiro halfway there so we can spam skills. Both me and Gyutaro are armored and spamming, but I know who will win this fight if I just keep spamming away. A couple of quick time events later, we decapitate the upper 6 before we even hit the 24-minute mark, finishing the entertainment district. My god, that was intense. Good thing we have a break now. We can clear this interlude pretty fast by going through Shinobu's back door, and telling the 3 little girls that you want to help them clean. And just like that, we start the next arc, the Swordsmith Village. This running section is a good reminder that walking people aren't real. As in, they have no hitbox, so you don't have to dodge them, you can just go through them. We talk to the village chief and suddenly it's evening, so let's hit the baths. We skip that Mitsuri cutscene, after all we are speedrunning, and Tanjiro teases us about it.
I didn't expect to see Miss Konroji in this village.
Yeah, it's like they knew we would be speedrunning this. We call it a day, and the following morning we are running towards Yoriichi Type 0. The training doll has a very unique push block in this mode. It's like a super powered push block that breaks armor, invincibility, well, it breaks everything. It just forces you to block. And that's why we take a step back here after we finish our combo and try to reset from afar. That is what a reset is supposed to look like. Now, the second time you try to do it, he usually does the tornado. The right thing to do there is actually to parry Yoriichi Type 0, but we actually failed. Luckily, his guard breaks pretty quickly, and from this point on, the resets are kind of random. We don't know what the Yoriichi Type 0 is going to do. I should have boosted earlier for sure. Instead, I boost there, and that it was a pretty unsafe choice. As you can see, Yoriichi Type 0 just punished it. We're going to attempt one more reset. This time, we actually parry the tornado, but I didn't expect 3 tornadoes to come through. Yoriichi Type 0 just does 1 tornado sometimes, as he just did now. So this run was definitely not optimal. His health is pretty low, so we're going to finish it right here. But this is definitely one of the fights in this run that you could improve by another 10 seconds or so. But enough daytime gameplay. This is Demon Slayer, and demons must be slayed at night. And we can get to the slaying faster if we just quickly air dash like this. What's important here during this first horde mode with Muichiro is to not get knocked down by any of the big fish. And you can do that by using his counterattack guard skill or by using his surge. That said, we're going to be surrounded by 3 fish pretty soon, so we should probably save our surge for then. Surge gives us super armor, so as long as we're attacking, we're not getting knocked down. After you finish the 3 fish, we have a whole little wave to get to, so let's quickly hop over. And since I want to save the surge for when the big fish come out, I'm going to try to survive this using only my counters, which I do land successfully even though there are 2 fish right now. Now I just need to clear the small fish for the 5 big fish to all spawn simultaneously, and this is why we saved surge. We pop that and it's time to slice and dice until all the fish are gone. We did all of that so we can just slay more fish. This time with Mitsuri, but the idea is the same. Our guard skill is going to save us from getting knocked down for most of the time, and then we can pop surge whenever we need the meter and the armor to finish off the big fish. Quickly hop upstairs, do it all over again, first the small fish, and then the 3 big fish that spawn next to the stairs. Hope you haven't had enough of fish yet, because next comes the biggest one. And this was a really fun fight to figure out. For the most part, we're just spamming this combo. Guard skill into 2 jumping attacks into jumping skill, and doing this full combo twice is going to stun the fish, as you can see. Now we're out of meter, so we have to land and boost, and we do a single guard skill and retreat because the fish is going to boost. We get back in there, do a single guard skill into jumping attacks because we're going to get stunned. If we spent more meter, it would be a waste. Once again, we do the exact same thing, land, and use the guard skill to dodge his wave on the ground, running away once again because he's going to boost, and then surge. By doing this correctly, we are able to stun the fish at the start of his surge phase, which is going to delay all of his attacks. So just like that, we're going to use all of our meter, boost once again, and do a perfect big fish fight. We cut back to Muichiro, who is now fighting the King of Fishes, the upper 5. Now this fight has a lot of RNG at the start. Whenever he does a dive attack, you should dodge and punish like we just did, and he does that twice in a row in this case, so that is actually great. All the other attacks you could probably heavy through, but because I dodged that first one, the heavy punish wasn't perfect. That said, as soon as you have surge, you should pop it, because in this fight, the surge actually is infinite. So it's kind of a unique fight like that. We clash on that attack, which is not perfect. He's going to combo break you a lot every time you deal a little bit of damage, and then blow you away. Now, this is a crucial part of this fight where you gotta deal enough damage before he jumps away. You can't really interrupt the jumping away here, which means we're gonna be dodging this stuff a lot and it's pretty boring, but we actually failed in dealing enough damage for the second phase to go pretty smooth. And that's because we were simply too far away from Gyokko when he did the surge animation. So now when he lands, we're gonna do a heavy attack, and we're gonna try to sneak in another one before going for an optimal combo, but unfortunately, he's no longer stunned, and he breaks the combo immediately. So we're scrimming a little bit, we still have a surge so we can still power through attacks no problem, and this wasn't too bad of a phase 2. I think the first phase was pretty good, except for the lack of damage after he goes into surge. Doing more damage there would have made for a perfect phase 2. That said, because phase 1 was solid, this was not a bad time for a Gyokko fight at all. The upper 5 is no more, only one more upper moon to go. And who needs therapy when you can simply shoot sadness away? This is a fight where you have to react with your guard skill to this line attack, but charge a heavy attack against everything else. So it's gonna test your reactions a little bit. After 4 counters in total, we are going to boost and we're gonna land a full optimal combo on this guy, making sure he is knocked down in the end, because we're gonna need to move away and charge up some meter before sadness goes into a surge. After the surge comes through, we simply power through with the meter we've just built, doing the same combo, completing the one and only Genya fight in this whole run. Next is a pretty cool boss fight, where you gotta defeat the lightning emotion in the middle there, while the other two just pester you with attacks. So we're gonna completely ignore them and just get hit by the lightning dude. That is not a great start. Now he does a lot of armored attacks, there's a chance he just gets hit by a normal combo at the start though. I do prefer that start over this, but this is not too bad. We do boost and now we just charge towards them and charge 2 heavy attacks back to back. We did accidentally block there, which is really bad for our gear if you recall. So that is a definite time loss because Reckless Abandon is going to take way longer to activate. We do 2 other heavy attacks and that's going to put this group in a surge, but we simply power through the surge once again, hitting them with 2 other heavy attacks, and at this point they would be dead with Reckless Abandon, but we do have to dash in and do a couple more attacks just to finish things off, triggering the coolest animation in this speedrun. Unfortunately, it's coming after a pretty suboptimal fight against the 3 emotions, but the quality of animation is still peak. With them out of the way, however, it's time for 2 back-to-back fights as Mitsuri going up against Zohakuten. The combo we go for is pretty simple. We land as many guard skills as possible and we confirm them into a combo whenever we can, taking him into the air and restanding them with a regular skill. We repeat this until he's half health, at which point he's gonna jump away and attack you from a distance. You can't really do much here, so we use this phase to build a boost, making sure we have it available for when he comes back down. When he finally does, we hit him with this combo and get a free guaranteed reset as he still seems to be stunned from the big surge attacks, putting him in a one-touch range, so we just gotta wait for him to do something and punish it with a guard skill. And that's how we finish the fight against Zohakuten, or so we thought. He just gets up and you gotta fight him again. Now you are in a permanent boosted state, which means you deal more damage, but we did lose our special bar. So there's no way for us to quickly regenerate meter during this entire fight, and that means we gotta be smart with our meter usage, even if that means getting hit after landing a guard skill. Once again, he jumps away to throw some big attacks. The priority at this point is to regenerate your whole meter before he comes back down. There's no guaranteed reset this time around, so you just gotta land some normal combos. That said, you can definitely rely on this Zohakuten to attack pretty often after pushing you away, which means punishing with guard skill is pretty easy. And just like that, you're done with the big guy. Speaking of big guy, Urami is up next, and this is one of those fights where there's a lot of RNG, but every attack has a correct reaction. So it's a fight that definitely tests your ability to react and adjust a lot, and I'm gonna do my best to commentate this in real time as we go. Now, we want to finish combos standing up Urami, because if he's knocked down, you gotta wait for him to get back up, and that just takes a really long time. Genya shoots him, I confirm into a combo, summon Nezuko, and this attack we cannot power through because it's a stun, so is this one. There are attacks that you gotta dodge, and there are attacks that you can power through. We're going to finish this combo, he's going to boost us away. We summon Genya because we're far away. That is an attack you can actually power through, but he was too far away from us. As soon as he gets hit, he's going to blow us away, and we're just going to let Genya do the rest of the work for us as we dodge the stun. If that was too quick, don't worry, we get to fight him again. This time with no assists, but to be fair, he also has no head. He does cheat though, because you guard break him and he doesn't get comboed. Here, we're going to put him in the air and try to reset, and unfortunately, I didn't delay the button enough, which means I failed the reset, and now we're back to catching him. That's not suboptimal though, because he does attack you a lot, and just powering through his attacks with your own heavies is a pretty optimal way of getting through this fight. So we're just simply gonna power through his heavies and confirm into the final combo now that he has low enough health so we can make him
atone for your sins!
And just like that, we have finished the Swordsmith Village. Time for another break. We have a final interlude before the Hashira training, though this time we're playing as Zenitsu, and instead of leaving, we're gonna enter through Shinobu's back door. And the interlude ends once we check up on Tanjiro. We're ready for the Hashira training, starting with a hard mode on this abandoned castle. The strategy is pretty simple here. You want to find the big guys and spam claws with Sanemi, since they tend to kill them in one hit. The game forces a switch to Iguro for a short time. He's definitely slower than Sanemi, so we're gonna pop Surge and do the best we can. But we're gonna try to leave enough Surge time to play with Sanemi for the rest of the room. Once we clear the first room, we move upstairs and repeat. This time we never switch to Iguro, but our Surge is gonna run out against these big 5 demons. Luckily Sanemi has an armor tornado and they have still knocked me down. Well, one knockdown isn't too bad, so let's activate the Surge and spam claws until they are all gone. After that fight, we're gonna get through some mastery level ups here, and I mean, just listen to how fast my mashing is. Yeah, I want to get through this fast, dude. And the Hashira training can now officially begin after we knock on Gyu's door. 4 times total. As we fade into Giyu and fade back to Tanjiro. This takes ages. Oh, look! Oh, slow walking section right after that. You know what? This isn't actually even that bad. It's a pretty cool break after the action-packed section we just had. But let's actually start the Hashira training. First, we run to Muichiro's dojo, and it's a pretty simple 1v1 where we do something called the Bunny Reset. This is because the reset was discovered by Toe Bunny, another runner who's in the Demon Slayer 2 leaderboard. And it's a reset that only really works with Swordsmith Tanjiro, and that's why we haven't used it in the run so far. I mean, I tried against Urami, but I dropped it. Muichiro has a couple of forced combo breaks, which we just kinda have to deal with. Our goal is to keep him in these resets for as long as possible, and whenever he escapes, we gotta find a way to punish him quickly so we can start resetting him again. Even though we were pretty low on meter, we managed to make it work, and we did an okay Muichiro fight right here. Next, we have flexibility training with Mitsuri. This part doesn't really matter. You just gotta do well enough to pass. Whether you do the rest perfectly or not, it's not gonna make it any faster. This next fight, I'm very proud of how I optimized it. We're gonna fight against Iguro and Muichiro. And because Iguro starts doing heavies, I start doing heavies right back. He combo breaks, but then he always gets hit by this dash, and I go into a bunny reset. We have seen this before. Now, this second bunny reset, I just do a dive, and he resets himself because he's trying to leave the combo, which means I can deal enough damage for him to go into a surge, completely skipping the part where he tags in Muichiro. Now he's going to do a big attack. I just run back to make sure my heavy is going to connect with him. And we do the same thing here because this dash is pretty much guaranteed. One bunny reset, and then we delay the dash a little bit on the second bunny reset to catch him with that jumping attack. And that is what an optimal Iguro looks like. With that out of the way, we're only 2 fights away from the end of the run. Next is Sanemi, who is a bit of a pain because he blocks a lot, so we kind of have to wait for him to attack, and his attacks can be a lot of different things. This fight is gonna test your reactions and your game knowledge and how well you can adapt to whatever he throws at you. This is a combo break mechanic, and then what he does is completely random. We see that charge and we charge a heavy of our own, and we go into the sky and try to bunny reset over and over. We're out of meter, but we've dealt enough damage for him to combo break us, and he always does this quick time event after a combo break. We wait for him to do something, he charges a heavy, we charge a heavy back, and now he has enough health to go into a surge. After a surge, he's going to do 3 dashes. We can parry, but only the last one is important to really parry because that's going to give us an immediate combo, and that combo is going to lead straight into a bunny reset, which is going to combo break, putting us again in that quick time event. I got really lucky here. By mashing, I managed to catch him running away, and with a single reset, we are able to actually finish this fight. This is my best ever Sanemi segment. As we run to our next goal, remember that we've done a couple of minigames so far, with Zenitsu's Shamisen and Mitsuri's flexibility training, and those didn't really matter on how well you performed. Well, this one is the only one where you can actually save some time by timing your buttons perfectly. If you get an outstanding success on your timings, you can start pushing the boulder after only inhaling twice, and of course we missed the last one of those timings. The mashing section doesn't need to be crazy, you just need to reach the completed stage, the rest is just, well, showing off. And when we try to breathe in again, we miss the very first button. One mash later and we have the final breathing phase, which we finally nailed perfectly, but since we've missed the first 2, that's not gonna save us any time at all. Well, let's shake that feeling off because a few cutscenes later, it's time for the final boss fight, which can be a run killer. We have to start this run by whiff punishing Giyu doing something, and luckily, he does the easiest attack to dodge and punish. We do a bunny reset right here, and this one is a delayed dash bunny reset, so we can catch him jumping down with a jumping attack. This reset is not guaranteed. Luckily, he does that same attack again, so we can quickly finish phase 1. That's going to end with him boosting, going into a surge. We're going to boost ourselves as well before he does this quick time event that we have to jump over. Now we need to whiff punish something else, and we immediately do it after we see that basic attack. We do a bunny reset and basically just repeat through phase 1. He tries to jump back down, gets caught, and just like that, we finish the Giyu fight in record time. The speed run is mostly done. There is a quick time event here after a long cutscene, so the final input is after we mash circle, like we do in most anime games anyway. And that's time. 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 6 seconds, and I really believe the sub-hour is possible. But I'm gonna do an All Might and say, it's your turn. My sum of best segments is only 22 seconds away from the sub 1 hour time. Could we save those final 22 seconds by grinding the rest of these masteries? Is there any gear that can make this faster than what I have equipped right now? Are there new strategies that are gonna save us a lot of time? Mind you, this Tanjiro reset we did on Daki, that was discovered on the same day I made this run, so new tech keeps arising. But that does give me another anime world record on speedrun.com. That said, if we do take it to sub 1 hour, I'll come back to this game and run it again. This speedrun might be my new favorite. It's a really fun run. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure as hell enjoyed running the game, and I hope to see more of you on that leaderboard, whether you beat my time or not. But for more anime games, check out this video right here. Thanks for watching. Bye.